There we are. Right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Executive. If I go through a few housekeeping issues, I will now read out the emergency evacuation announcement. Should we be required to evacuate the building, would you please leave the building via the rear doors? To the hall, turn right, go through the two sets of double doors to the car park, which is the assembly point. Please do not delay your evacuation to collect any belongings. Please do not return to the building until given permission to do so by council staff. Please note that the meeting will be audio recorded. Please switch off mobile phones and put them to silent, or put them to silent. Thank you. Members, there are 4 microphones on the tables for use during the meeting. When I invite you to speak, please wait until there is a microphone in front of you before speaking, as microphones are needed for the hearing loop and for the audio recording. Please, where possible, assist in passing microphones to each other and use the hand gel and antibacterial wipes on the tables if you do touch the microphones. Voting will be done on a show of hands in line with the Constitution. I will ask for a show of hands for and then against recommendations. Numbers not voting will be noted by officers. All right, that's a bit of a different introduction to the Zoom meeting, isn't it? So that livened it up a bit. Good. Right, agenda item number 1, apologies for absence, and we've received no apologies. Moving on to item number 2, non-members attending. Councillor Eileen Gadsden, welcome, and indeed welcome to our 2 members of the public also attending. Moving to the minutes of the 14th of April 2021. Members, are the minutes, we'll look in that direction, haven't I? Members, are the minutes agreed? Agreed? Agreed. Good. Item number 4, to receive declarations of interest. Members, are there any declarations of interest? No, I'm not seeing any. Item number 5, questions on notice from councillors. There are none. Matters referred to the Executive and reports from other committees. There are none. So to the main event of the evening, which is agenda item number 7, provisional financial outturn. The portfolio holder for financial services, Councillor Simon Smith, will present the report. Councillor Smith.
Thank you, Chairman. Before I get started, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank Naomi and her team for all the work that has gone into this. It's condensed into a small report, but it should by no means take away from the sheer quantity of work that goes into preparing our financial figures. I've got a number of points that I'll talk you through. The original general fund revenue budget was 9.8 million. The provisional outrun was 10.3 million, which is unfavourable variance of 0.5 million. In addition to the original base budget, £1 million of drawdowns from reserves was approved for specific purposes during the year, and these are detailed in Appendix 2. It's requested to carry forward 1.4 million of budget relating to specific projects, grant-funded expenditure on one-off items, including 0.5 million of sales, fees and charges, compensation grant income into 21-22, as detailed in Appendices 4A and 4B. Once these items are accounted for, the overall overspend rises to 0.9 million. This underlying overspend reflects the impact of COVID-19 on service budget areas. To help mitigate these pressures, the government provided the council with a COVID-19 general grant allocation of 1.1 million. Application of this grant reduces the net position to 8.2 million underspend, which is a small increase of £60,000 compared to the position reported to the Executive in Q3 back in February. As well as the general COVID-19 grant, the government has also provided several other specific COVID-19 grant allocations, which are reported separately. The details of these can be found in the table at Appendix 4C. The capital programme, totalling 2.9 million, was approved at full council in February 2020. The executive agreed to reprofile this in Q1, giving a revised capital budget of 1.9 million. The provisional capital outrun position is 1.2 million, as set out in Appendix 5. This includes 0.5 million of slippage on projects, mainly due to COVID-19 delaying completion of works. This is requested to be carried forward into 21-22. The Council holds sufficient reserves and balances to support the longer-term financial stability of the Council, although it should be noted that the majority of these reserves are earmarked for specific purposes and will not be available unless decisions are taken to reconsider the Council's strategic priorities and other associated funding commitments. The reserves position is detailed at Appendix 3. To summarise, the report shows that despite the adverse impacts of COVID-19 on the Council's budgets, additional grant funding combined with savings on salaries and other budgets has meant that the Council has been able to contain its pressures in the short term and deliver against its corporate priorities, while maintaining its planned contributions to reserves for projects such as the Connect programme. However, the COVID-19 losses and cost pressures experienced in 2021 are continuing into 21-22 and may extend into the medium term. The government's income compensation scheme will continue for the first quarter of 21-22, and some additional grant support has been made available for this financial year. However, the Council is likely to have to take difficult decisions to ensure its financial sustainability in the medium term unless additional ongoing resources are agreed for local authorities as part of the comprehensive spending review, which is planned in 2021. Chairman, you can't say by any means that last year was a good year. Last year was a terrible year in all sorts of ways. But in terms of the way in which we've managed our budget, I do believe we have performed as well as we possibly could given all the circumstances. And so therefore I ask the Executive to approve the recommendations to set out on the 10 points in section 1 of the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Are there any questions at this stage for either Councillor Smith or for him to delegate and ask Naomi Lucas to help us out? Any questions, members? Councillor Ward.
Thank you, Chairman. It's just an observation at how well we have done in consideration of the shocking period that we've had. It is a great credit, I think, to everybody who works and is part of Rochford District Council that we've actually got ourselves through what could have been an awful financial mess. That we've come out this way, it's amazing, to be quite honest, and I have to say I have to be very proud to be a member of this executive and this council that has worked so well to actually achieve that, and give credit to the portfolio holder and Naomi and her staff in what's going on. But not only that, to all the ADs and the acting managing director, because we've had to bear some enormous costs, and we've got through it, and I have to applaud them. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Ward, thank you very much indeed. Any other comments from members? No, I wish to make a few points before I turn to the various recommendations. And Councillor Ward, you and I didn't speak before this meeting, but you could have stolen my speech. But nevertheless, I'm actually going to say much the same. But under the stewardship of portfolio holder Councillor Simon Smith, we have been fortunate to be able to steer a ship politically in an extremely sound way. And I, like you, am extremely proud to be the leader of this council at this time, albeit a very difficult time. But I also want to pay tribute to Naomi Lucas, who steers the financial ship and is the fountain of all knowledge to whom we refer on occasions, and frankly, she knows from other meetings that I've had with her. I constantly repeat my appreciation to her, although I know the portfolio holder officially does that. But actually, when you read this report, it is a tribute to all officers, senior officers in particular, but actually all officers, for the way that they manage their directorates and the tough times that we have. And I'm actually going to read the first paragraph of this report, because I think it's appropriate to place that on record, and actually read 2.1. The financial impact of COVID-19 has been an evolving picture throughout 2021, and this uncertainty will continue into 2021 to 2022. Managing the 2020-21 budget has been significantly more challenging than usual due to the ongoing impacts of COVID-19 on the Council's finances, staff, residents and the local economy. The Council has played a significant role in responding to the pandemic, supporting businesses and the most vulnerable in our communities, as well as continuing to provide essential services to all residents. Furthermore, what we were able to do in this year's budget was continue to invest in our community, investing in our car parks, investing in community safety, investing in our town centres in terms of making them fit for the return to life in normality. So it is a huge tribute to officers and to members, particularly of the executive, for the way they steer their various portfolios in conjunction with senior officers. So I do actually want to pay my tribute in that way. Before I turn to the recommendations, any further comments? No, okay. I'm going to take these in groups of 3s and 4s, as there's 10 recommendations. So if you turn to paragraphs 1.1 to 1.10, the first recommendation is to note the provisional outturn position against the 2021 revenue budget as contained in paragraphs 2.1 to 2.9. Is that noted, members?
Noted.
Noted. 1.2, to note that the Council's 2020 to 21 statement of accounts are still being prepared and will be subject to audit by the external auditors, Ernst & Young. It is therefore possible that changes will be made to the financial outturn which could alter the position presented within this report. Is that noted, members?
Noted.
And 1.3 is to approve the transfer to the business rate smoothing reserves of £3,071, £3,071,159 set out in paragraph 2.9, the non-service specific expenditure. Approved?
Approved.
Yes, could I have a show of hands, please? And that is clearly unanimous. I must look to see where the commas are in the long numbers, mustn't I? So I get the millions right. Right, moving on to 1.4, to note the detailed breakdown of each portfolio's provisional outturn position at Appendix 1. Is that noted, members?
Noted.
Noted. To note the detailed breakdown of in-year reserve movements at Appendix 2. Is that noted?
Noted.
To note the projected earmarked reserves closing balance at the 31st of March 2021, as set out in Appendix 3, which includes the impact of items 1.7 to 1.8 below. Is that noted, members?
Noted.
To approve £1,422,909 of revenue carry forwards, comprised of £1,184,120 of grant budgets and £238,790 of general budgets, as set out in Appendix 4A and 4B. And I guess on 1.7 we have to have a show of hands. So can I have a show of hands to approve it? And that again is unanimous. Moving on to 1.8, to note the COVID-19 grants position detailed at Appendix 4C, including ring-fenced amounts to be rolled forward into 2021 to 2022. Is that noted, members?
Noted.
Noted. 1.9, to note the provisional outturn position against the 2020-21 capital budget as contained in paragraphs 2.12 and 2.13 and detailed in Appendix 5. Is that noted, members?
Noted.
Thank you. And finally, 1.10, to approve £496,183 of capital project carry forwards for those schemes deemed outstanding at the end of 2020 to 21 into 2021-22 for completion as detailed in Appendix 6. And again, can I have a show of hands, please, to approve that? Unanimous. So, members, at 7:47 p.m, that actually concludes the business of the evening. So thank you very much indeed to everyone for attending. Thank you.